one more quick thing that you wanted to talk about was the recording of Bob Woodward with Donald Trump.
Oh God. so
I'll let you take control of that conversation, sir.
so I'm going to talk about that, but just really the week or the 2 weeks really since we last recorded in well, how do you want to call it? The week in
Flux?
I don't know. Anyway, okay. The 2 weeks have passed in 2 minutes or 3 minutes. So basically, what's happened since is that there was an alleged report that came out that Trump said something negative about military people in the military. He said that if you go into the military, you're a sucker, or
you go into the military, or if you die in the military. If you die,
I think he said if you go in, you're a sucker, and if you actually, I think it's the people that die are suckers and losers for going in, right? And the reason why I personally didn't
Americans who died in wars are losers and suckers, supposedly is what he said.
There we go. The reason why I didn't say anything on Facebook about this is because, one, it's someone saying that he said it. However, knowing the other things that he has said in the past, that he has said on the record about John McCain, it's kind of believable, isn't it? Right? Like it's the kind of thing that you're like, well, he didn't. I don't know for sure that he said it, but he definitely said it, type of deal, right? And then you couple that with something that happened in the past couple of days, which is what Zeus was alluding to, which is the Bob Woodward excerpt from his from the recordings for his new book, in which Donald Trump said verbatim that this is February 17th that this recording is from. He said that this virus is 5 times worse than the flu. And the problem is that you don't know, you could just get it in the air from breathing it. And it's a problem, but I'm trying to downplay it because I don't want people to panic. And he legit said, I'm trying to downplay it. And then he goes on to his briefings in the weeks and months that followed and continued to downplay it, continued to say that it's just like the virus. And, sorry, just like the flu. And it kind of points to a couple of things. One, it's a demonstrable sign that this dude is a liar. Like he would say one thing to us and then say something else to Bob Woodward. It's a lie. It's not a mistruth. It's not an alternative fact. It's a lie, right? So if he can lie about that, he can definitely lie about the veterans thing. But then the second thing is, I've always wondered what's worse. Is it worse that there's an idea that Trump may not have been listening in briefings about the virus and therefore didn't take it as serious as he should have, or that he listened and didn't do what he needed to do about it? Well, now we know that he listened because he was actually very clear on the facts about it. He just didn't do what he needed to do. And I'm thinking that's actually worse.
I actually think that that's actually that's enough for removal, in my opinion.
I mean,
because
I think so.
It's not downplaying, in my opinion. It's straight denial. It's one thing to downplay and say it's just like the common flu, but to say it's just like the common flu, ignore it. Don't social distance. You don't need to wear a mask. You don't need to do all this stuff. That's one thing. I can get downplaying. I really can. I can get downplaying to say, hey, I don't think it's as bad as it is, but we're going to go ahead and follow CDC guidelines. We're going to go ahead. I recommend all my people, because guess what? At the end of the day, he has people who would fall in line for him because he's got a cult of personality behind him. You literally just have to tell him, look, we're just going to go ahead and just social distance for a bit. Let's completely crack down. Order Congress to be like, look, y'all need to pay the people. Y'all need to give them this much money. Y'all need to, you know what I mean? Like let's just do $3,000, put a freeze on mortgages, put a freeze on rent, and and do social. You know what I'm saying? Like put all the measurements that could have been put in to do it, but still say, hey, it's not as bad as it's. But I'm playing it safe.
Yeah,
You can downplay it.
Honestly, with how much he clearly knew about it, because like I said, this is from February 17th. With how much he clearly knew about it and how early he knew about it, if we had done this 14 days to slow the spread thing, like from the get-go, and they given them, the ability to contact trace, isolate the right people, they could have knocked this thing out the same way they knocked out Ebola, the same way they knocked out H1N1.
The way that the New Zealand government did it.
Yeah, and we would be fine, right? But as far as grounds for removal, I mean, obviously I think so, because I know for a fact that there are a lot of people who did not wear their masks and did not social distance because he downplayed it, because he told them that you look goofy wearing a mask.
Who do you work with?
Huh?
I'm assuming they're work friends, not actual.
No. Oh, yeah, talking about my.
Yeah, who are these?
I know.
Really?
No. I know for a fact that there are people like that. But it's not a number. It's not a tangible metric that you can say that this many people died or got the virus because the president didn't tell them to wear a mask. Yeah. If that was a tangible number, you could say, then you could be like, because of what you said, this number of people died, therefore you should be removed from office.
You know what's funny though? I think about 70, 80 years ago, it would have been a
removable offense.
Yes, definitely. Because remember, they're just very lenient with it's just like people don't get outraged for anything, or if they do get outraged, they don't. The politicians in charge of actually getting removals done don't do crap about it.
Honestly, 10 years ago, do you think that if they said that we have witnesses who can testify to the president trying to get aid from Ukraine to help in the election, do you think 10 years ago the Senate would be like, no, we don't want to see any
I think
witnesses?
It would have been more controversial, but 10 years ago is when it started really being like that. I always tell people that one of the big reasons why Donald Trump is the way he is able to be the way he is has a lot to do with the division that was created during George Bush's tenure. Because during George Bush's tenure is when we really created, and I wouldn't say it's because of his tenure. I would say it's because of, again, going back to the media. That's around the time that Fox News started becoming an us versus them kind of thing and created a lot of division. I honestly blame them for a lot of division. So
do you think, right, if Obama had done this stuff and he had a Democratic Senate, right, so let's say same numbers as now, right? I think, let's say 52 Democrats and 48 Republicans. And Obama had actively said, hey, I don't know, Saudi Arabia, help me win my next election, give me dirt on my opponents, or like interfere in our election. Do you think that the Democrats would have fallen in line and said that, oh, we know that there's someone that could have potential evidence against you, but we're not going to bring them in to interview?
If it was like a senator position, or you know what I mean, like a congressman position or something like that, I would say probably they would have not a lot. You're saying basically would they have backed them up, like basically back the, like,
because Trump needed, because he had 52 Republicans, right, and he needed almost all of them to basically say no to having witnesses, come in, right? And he got
that. Okay, now I get what you're saying. I'm sorry. Now I get the question.
Yeah.
So basically, to stack the actual proceedings in his favor is what you're saying.
Yes.
I want to say no, but I wouldn't be surprised if they would, honestly, because at the end of the day, it's still politics.
So you think there is a likelihood that 52 Democrats, or even just 51 Democrats, would have been like, you know what, the president is of our party, so let's not see witnesses?
No, no, I wouldn't have, because that's one of the things that I kind of alluded to. I don't know about stop talking pre-production, because I get confused on what we talk about pre-production.
Yeah, about how the Democratic Party is
a bigger tint.
different. Yeah.
Yeah, they have. So no, there would have probably
there's
been
no
a
way.
really progressive one that would have been like, no, we're not going to stand for corruption.
There's no way. And I don't even think the Republican Party of 10 years ago would have backed Bush so wholeheartedly like this, where they're like, yes, we know that there's potentially evidence against you, but we're not going to call in witnesses.
Until he became, they wouldn't have until he became a wartime president. That's the one that provided George Bush with so much. And I'm just talking about George Bush himself. I'm like, 9/11 had never happened, then no, you're right. They wouldn't have backed him up like that the way they did now.
Had this happened in 2003, I would say you're right. Had this happened in 2007, I would have said that no, the Republicans wouldn't have backed him up blindly, even in the face of like overwhelming evidence from the House trial. They wouldn't have been like, okay, yeah, Bush, we're gonna back you back. No way. I think.
Real quickly, I know this isn't the subject. What do you think is the biggest cause behind Republicans all of a sudden just because that's the one thing that they did? Because remember, you had so many Republicans going against Donald Trump during the primary. I forgot who Graham was talking about him, and I think was Mitch McConnell.
Mitch McConnell kind of stayed out of it.
Yeah,
but
Cruz, remember he insulted his wife and he didn't. But then, now that he's in office, they like. When do you think it was that it became about the party to them versus the actual values that they're supposed to have?
The votes. It was when it was the election itself. When they saw that their individual districts and counties seemed to vote more, especially the congressmen who were on the ballot that year. A lot of them may have won their races, but Trump actually got more votes than they did in their districts, which is crazy to think of, right? That they voted for Trump, and then down ballot, they're like, I don't actually kind of like this guy that much, or I'm going to leave this guy's race blank. So they were like, oh my goodness, like the only reason I won is because Trump was on the ballot with me. I really have to
embrace him.
Embrace him, exactly. Embrace is the perfect word for that. So that's why you have it. Like I told you before, Lindsey Graham is trailing in South Carolina to Donald Trump. Donald Trump is going to win South Carolina handily. Lindsey Graham might win his Senate race in South Carolina, but we don't know. Right? So he knows that he really has to embrace Donald Trump because Trump is his ticket to re-election.
Yeah. So, you know what I hate though? Mitch McConnell never was threatened. And he's probably one of the worst politicians in this entire country. And I honestly feel like we should forcibly secede Tennessee sometimes just because they continue to vote for this guy.
It's landlocked.
Figure out. We'll put a border. Now I know
we'll Bugs Bunny it. We'll just cut it out and
just do something because it's just y'all got to stop voting. I'm sorry if anybody is listening and they're from Tennessee, you need to talk to your people and tell them to stop voting for Mitch.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get how McConnell is invincible. But
Bonner was there too before that, wasn't he? Bonner?
John Boehner?
John Boehner?
No, Boehner's Ohio.
Oh, okay. He just looked like he would be from Tennessee.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. I don't know where you wanted to.
Okay, yeah. Sorry. So yeah, we went into a thing about what were we just talking about? We were talking
Bob Woodward somewhere.
Well, okay, yeah. So that's it. That's the wrap up. I just wanted to talk about the fact that this is a clear evidence that the dude's a liar, and somehow people will put themselves in pretzels and say that it's taken out of context, even though there is no context. It's his words. So anyway, dude's a liar. Sports.
Just real quickly before we go there, I still am amazed at the fact that Billy Bush, his career pretty much was ruined, where all he was doing was saying, yeah, you're right. Oh, yeah. But Donald Trump was the one saying it, and he won the presidency. So this just, what are you doing, America?
I don't get it.
All right. So, all right, I think that can kind of not really.